Okay, in this part... hi, I'm Hart, and this is Dragon Pulse 2. In this part we're gonna go to fight Mydia, who's actually one of my favorite characters in this game. She's probably the most interesting.
さあいらっしゃい。楽しいひとときを過ごさせてあげましょう。
I think the character of Mydia is quite interesting because she's half Doggle, like Bart's, and actually she's Bart's childhood friend and has feelings for him. But she's interesting because she's not really like the other Dark Generals. She lives for dance, and she wants to, she's glad to be able to dance over ground because it's more beautiful over ground than it is in the underground. So that's kind of a little bit more interesting than just kind of world domination type stuff. But unfortunately, she's kind of fighting for the wrong side because she feels as a half Doggle, she has tainted blood, and so she's been denied certain freedoms, which is why she sides with the Zeldokian. As with Estan, she has sort of a little unit of Doggles that protect her, so I'm just trying to get through those first. I have quite a strange troop type choice with Kaede. Okay, just there I showed Mijingakure, which is I'm not sure if the skill is unique to Kaede, but it's I think it's only Izumo units get it if it's not just unique to Kaede. It attacks enemies surrounding the general. Mijingakure means to like hide oneself, so it's like a ninja technique. Incidentally, Kaede means it's a girl's name here, and can be just in real life as well. But it means maple in Japanese, and you might notice in pictures, you can't really see it on a sprite, but on Kaede's armor, on her shoulder plates, she has a Japanese maple leaf. So that's an interesting little detail. Okay, Mydia has Horned Doggo, and she's level 45 just like Estan, although unlike Estan she has 30 MP, so you know she's going to be using a lot of skills. You can't really hope to get her to run out to exhaust her supply of MP, so really you just have to weather all the attacks that she has. That's the skill that she uses most often. I'm actually fairly certain it's her only skill. Oh, no, it's not. She has Thunderfall, Healing, Death Dance, Fairy Ray, and Charm. So that's Death Dance, or as she calls it, Sword Dance. It doesn't seem that threatening, but because it only costs it has a very low MP cost, and she has very high MP. You'll notice that she uses it a lot, and it damages your troops and the enemy general, or rather our general. So that makes her quite tough. Here I'm using Thunderfall with Bards. So Bards does get some useful attack spells later on because Thunderfall can actually hit the enemy general as well. Unfortunately it's quite expensive, and unless you pump him full of Astia statues to increase his MP, then you might have difficulty doing any real damage with his skills. With dragon statues and Astia statues, they're very important if you don't want life to be very, very difficult at the end of the game. Dragon statues increase HP by 3, yeah, and Astia statues increase MP by 2. So if, like me, you pretty much know which generals you're going to be using in the end game, it pays to save those items for your main generals. Probably dragons statues I tend to save for characters like Lenny and Sanith.
太陽の光、草の匂い、小川のせせらぎ。やっと華やかな舞台で踊れると思ったのに、やっぱり闇の住人にはふさわしくないということなの。悲しいね。悲しいよね。
In that little monologue, Mydia says that she felt happy that she was finally able to dance on a glorious stage, one with beautiful flowers and the murmur of streams, but that in the end, such a stage was not meant for one of the denizens of darkness like myself. How sad, how sad. And then she turns to dust, which is, yeah, kind of sad. A lot of the other characters, like Gideon and Grace, whenever you try to capture them, because often when you defeat an enemy general it says, we captured General whatever, and you get them as prisoners of war, which you then can try to convert later. Obviously, the game doesn't want you to convert the enemy generals to your side, and it would never let you do so. So you can't actually capture them as prisoners of war ever. And so they'll either always run away or they'll have some kind of special text like Gideon disappeared or Gideon escaped somehow, or just then with Mydia turned to dust. That's because you can never ever capture them anyway. So now the only person we have left is Orvo. So what I'm doing here is just shuffling around all of my units so that we've got people nearby. As you can see, he sent out Doggle to his surrounding castles, so we'll have to get rid of them. I won't show those in full time because it's nothing you haven't already seen. Yeah, so basically I'm just reshuffling my units, and so that I have generals in every castle in the Zeldokian continent. Again, it's not strictly necessary, but it's just what I like to do for completion's sake. So here I'm splitting my main monarchs, my main generals in half, and sending one division to one side and the other to the other. Aberts is, I think, quite useful as a general because he has very useful skills. He gets Aura Blast, which is a very solid low-level skill, which he uses there, but he also gets all of the Storm abilities. And that was Hyperstorm, which is the highest storm level ability. The three are Sonic Boom, Triple Sonic, and Hyperstorm, which send out 1, 3, and 5 waves of energy respectively. And they're useful because they damage all enemies and damage the enemy general. So I know I said this like so many times already, but I really definitely, that's like more than just really, I really definitely favour generals that have a skill that can directly hit the enemy general, just because it makes life so much easier. Here I'm just changing Kaede's troop types. I don't really need to, but I'm giving her back Battle Elves and Ashigaru. I think I just found it a bit strangely unbalanced when she only had one line of Falcon Men and the rest all Ashigaru. It was just a bit weird. It is a good idea to have different troop types in the sense that different troop types are affected by enemy skills differently. So it's often a good idea to have some flying units and some ground-based units. That'll just cover all your bases when it comes to enemy skills. But again, it's not 100% necessary. Especially if you have skills like Resurrection or Charm, with which you can supplement your troop numbers. Well, something interesting I discovered about Resurrection is Resurrection can heal up to 70 troops. If in one battle I've used used Resurrection with Lenny when she had no troops left and she got 70 back, which is huge. But Resurrection doesn't bring back troops that you don't have already, in the sense that it only brings back troops that have died in that particular battle. So if you're in a battle and you had 100 troops to begin with, then you can resurrect up to 100 within that battle. But then if you, for example, have a draw and then go into another battle with the same general, but you start with 50, if you use Resurrection as your first skill and none of your 50 troops have died, you actually won't get any troops back. So that's an important caveat to just keep in mind. I'm sure most people who are familiar with Dragon Force will have noticed this a long time ago, but Edelbach wears a mask, and so did Junon, who was Tristan's monarch in the first game, so there's a little bit of continuity there. Actually, Edelbach wears his mask because of the shame he feels from having killed his own wife and child. He says that after he killed them, he vowed never to remove the mask. I know that Junon takes hers off in Dragon Force 1. I can't remember what triggers it, but I know that I think you have to be playing as her, but I know that partway through the game she removes her helmet or her mask, and then you play as her without a mask on for the rest of the game, which is quite cool. But I've never actually finished Edelbach's scenario in this game. Edelbach is one of the two locked characters. Lenny and Edelbach, you have to finish the game once in order to select them as characters, so you can't just play their scenario as one of the first ones through. So that's why I've never actually played his scenario. I don't know if perhaps things go differently if you play his campaign. In Dragon Force 1, Goldark and Reinhardt were the two locked characters. I understand why Lenny is a locked character in this one. It's because she has a very close association with Tiras, because Tiras' soul is within her. And since you only find, because Tiras is a huge plot character, and you only find out that she can be brought back partway through the story, because she's pivotal to Lenny's story, and Lenny knows about her from the beginning, it would be a spoiler for itself. So that's why you have to have already cleared the game once to play as Lenny. But I'm not sure what happens in Edelbach's scenario. I'll have to play it and see. Okay, so in the next part, I'm gonna go and finally take on Orvo, who's been plaguing us through the whole game, and he's the last of the 3 Dark Generals that we need to take out before we can go and fight Grandel himself.